we want a lot from our websites. We want big hero images and nav bars, and we want animations and theme elements that are consistent throughout the website. Oftentimes we want a sidebar that has like multimedia elements or social media or MailChimp or mailing list subscription. We want blog posts that can be updated more regularly and form into a feed. And we want that to be different than the web pages that are static and have more content. So a lot of pieces get knit together in order to get our final website with a main menu up on top and a big hero image that provides a welcoming slideshow, a sidebar with little widgets like signups and customizable Twitter feeds or what have you, a footer with maybe some more of those widgets, or just some link to your disclaimer or privacy policy. And then a website, the body of the page with customizable elements that you can drop in and repeat elsewhere on the site. There's a lot of complex things, and so we're going to walk through some of the vocabulary we'll need in order to discuss the pieces of the website that get knit together. So our theme options are going to change a lot of how all of our components work. But then our components have individual options that will also change. So if a problem comes up, there are a number of places that we'll have to check to see what's causing the error, or where is the setting that'll change this color font that's standing out. So there's a couple different areas we'll need to look at. WordPress will always have a theme, so you can't have a WordPress website without a theme loaded. Under Appearance, there will be a Themes options, and then you can set your theme. Every year, there's a new theme that WordPress releases, at least almost every year. There's a new theme that WordPress releases, and that's the default that it starts as. But you can download your own. There's some free ones, but we'll typically use a premium one that we'll talk about elsewhere. Themes have a few ways of providing options. Many provide their options panel with loads of different settings that you can customize. Some use this WordPress that has a built-in customize view. So if you press customize, it takes you to this customizer. You're not actually looking at the website. You're looking at what if, a mock-up of a website. So that way you can sort of make some changes. And if you like those changes, you hit publish and you've customized it. It's a little unreliable. I tend to avoid using the customizer if I can. There are some settings in the customizer that are unique. Changing your homepage settings, for example. Whether the homepage loads a particular page or always just the most recent list of your blog posts is controlled right here. And that's the only place that I've ever found for this setting. And so, but beyond that, I try to keep using only this option menu because this has the most detailed control of all of your theme settings. Typically, it depends what kind of theme you get. So the theme can change how the menu loads. The theme is going to change the default fonts and colors for all sorts of things throughout the website. So it's overall, and the theme has a base, so that loads sort of the base template. There may be different page templates as well. That's located right here. If I'm editing a page, you'll see, well, I want to start out as a coming soon page, and that'll load some default elements. It might even wipe all of your elements out and only have a coming soon message that is controlled from the theme options. And so templates can be a little bit problematic because something might overwrite what you'll build on the page itself. If you write a paragraph or a welcome message, then it's not showing up on your coming soon page because this particular page template is controlled by your theme options and doesn't let you edit the page. That has happened. And so typically I don't change the page template. I usually keep default template on, but maybe sometimes a full width might make sense. So that way, as you write the content, you won't have margins on the side if you want to avoid that for some reason. And while you're working on the page, you might want to have that slider at the beginning that I showed, and that might your theme, this theme, Edge, comes in with some Edge slides that I can control homepage. But I can also use an added plugin. I can install a plugin that'll make this thing appear, and so Slider Revolution. And that will allow me to create a new slideshow that I can then add a revolution slider. The plugin is called Slider Revolution. This is a revolution slider. Anyway, you can build one of those in a separate setup screen. And once you've built it using this, you'll have to watch some YouTube videos on how to do it. Then you can drop it in on the page here. And so there are components that you can add to a page that are built separately, and then you can drop them in. Similarly, the page might also have a sidebar that has maybe your shopping cart information or something, and you want that consistent on every page. So you don't want it on this individual page settings. Maybe there will be an option down below to hide the sidebar on this particular one. Let's see if there are any sidebar options, footer options, and there probably is. I don't want to go through all of them here. Options for whether or not I want the sidebar to be shown. As a matter of fact, I think I disable that by going to full width. I don't have the sidebar anymore. Anyway. Under Appearance, there's a thing called Widgets. And widgets are little applets, tiny little features, like a single image, a text box, or something more sophisticated like a sign-up form for your mailing list that is installed as a plugin. You can also get a Twitter feed. And so these are plugins that I'm adding in to my WordPress, and they add in new widgets that I can then add to my sidebar just by dragging them here, or I can add them to perhaps my footer if my theme provides new what are called widgetized areas, new areas that can contain widgets. You just drag the item right onto it as I need it. And last, before I recap this, is our menu. Our menu will have options in the theme that I already showed you, but I'll bring them up again real quick here. Edge options, and then sometimes called header, sometimes called navigation menu, and header. Some themes will control it very simply, as in how you want your nav bar to be structured. Sometimes the header is sort of referred to as a title on your page. And so themes can vary a little bit with their use of this term, which is frustrating, but to me, I usually keep this as menu or nav bar. Header is often a title on the page, but nonetheless, you can have options here that'll change some of the core setup. You can also configure the logo, the image that will be used on your navigation bar. But it doesn't actually control the contents of what's on there. To edit the actual contents of the menu, that's in a separate location. That's Appearance Menus. Because this is something unique to the theme options, but common in all WordPress is the need to have some sort of navigation. And so that's Appearance Menus. Now you can add in specific pages or posts or categories of posts you can turn into links. And so you just simply select what page you want, and you add it to the menu. You can reorder it. If you move it to the right a little bit, it creates a submenu. If you drop the item down, you'll have additional options. Your theme or plugins can add in more options here. So installed plugins and theme options both have additional impact on what you'll see when you drop down here. You can add in all sorts of extra things based on what you have installed here. Your theme may also create new places to have a menu. So you might have just one menu here, but there might be a tiny little top navigation menu that has like social media links on top of your primary navigation. So there may be extra navigation menus that are different for different needs. You might have a special one just if the screen is really small and it comes up as mobile navigation. You may just use main navigation for everything. That's fine. It depends on your theme and some of the options you have set up. But you drag them around, you set them up, you drop down, you press the options, you then select what menu you want this to use, and then you can save. You can create new menus as well, so you can have multiple menus that you can select and edit from here. So we have our theme base options being put together with individual page or blog post options. That's being knit together with several other installed plugins, a sidebar with widgets possibly, if we have them set up to do so, with our navigation menu all being rendered together or knit together and then displayed in a final page. And on top of all of this, because this process requires a lot of work, oftentimes there's another layer here that keeps a temporary saved version of this page. So it doesn't need the server, if it's hosting many pages for many people simultaneously, rather than constantly rebuild it, it keeps a lot of this stuff pre-built or cached. And so sometimes you can make a change and you wonder why it's not showing. Well, if your website is caching to try to keep a copy ready on hand for quick loading, then you might not see changes. So sometimes when I'm reloading a website, I'll press Control-Shift-R, and that forces your web browser to do a full reload. But that might not affect the web server if it's holding on to the cache. So anyway, there's another layer that you need to watch out for. This has been a big overview of all of this vocabulary. It's understandable if this is going to need some experimentation to really appreciate, but we're starting in the right direction.